All right, welcome to Pillow Talk Tuesday. I just made that up. Title pending.
It called like tiny
Tiny
tips.
We might have to bleep that one out. Tiny tits.
Tiny tips.
Tiny tips?
Yeah.
Tuesday
tiny tips.
Tiny Tuesday tips? See, this is already X-rated and she's not even trying to.
Tidbit Tuesday.
Tidbit Tuesday.
I love that. Tidbit Tuesday. One of our viewers came up with
Or
that.
2-Bit Tuesday, because we're giving our opinions and ideas and thoughts and stuff.
If you guys have any ideas of what we should call Tuesdays, where we just sit down, shoot the breeze, which is an American saying, or just tell you a little bit more about ourselves, then let us know down below.
Welcome to our first and a half video. Our previous one was about sort of the apps that we use to travel the world.
Yeah.
That may or may not be the format we're going for. We don't know. So today is a talky, chatty video, and we thought we'd answer questions about us. So one of the most asked questions that we get is, what did you guys do before YouTube?
Yeah.
And I guess, do you miss it? The year was 2009, I want to say.
Wait, you think you want to start there and not before that?
Oh, I thought we were just talking about LA.
Well, I feel like the before that's really important to our.
Okay, well let's go way back. The part that I
travel.
skipped over, I didn't know we were going back that far.
So a lot of people ask like, when did we start like wanting to travel, or when did we start traveling? And that's why I think this part is really important to our story. Is that when we first got married, Josh had a job and then he got laid off. So then it gave us a great opportunity to work for a nonprofit organization. The nonprofit is called Youth with a Mission, and we got to travel a lot through this program where we trained students 3 months in the States and then took them overseas 3 months. Right. So when we did that, we went to China, India, Nepal, Thailand, and Josh and I were the leaders of these groups of 12 college-age students. So not only were we in charge of ourselves, but 10 to 12 other people. And we were spending 3 months at a time overseas with all these people. So in that time, we began to learn how to travel better together, where our roles were while we were traveling, and also we fell in love with traveling and cultures and different people.
Yeah, and the way I sort of look back on that experience is it was a pressure cooker. It was an extreme environment. We were leading groups of students who had, most of them never left their hometown. We were putting them and ourselves into pretty intense circumstances. We were in a lot of poor areas, and we were living like locals, so we were living on similar budgets to what a local would live on, undergoing similar experiences. And part of it's if you work in nonprofit or missions, you sometimes find that for short-term teams, it's often as much about the team members going there as it is for the locals. That's a little secret to nonprofit work. Is it's not always about the people you're going to. So it's a learning experience for the students as well. And for us, it was a massive learning experience. But it was very difficult. And after like 3-4 years of that, we got a little tired. Or I did especially. I think Ashley would still do it again at the drop of a hat.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah?
I loved it. I love helping people. I love learning about cultures and being with people. And I loved working with students and seeing students reach potential they weren't they didn't know that they were capable of. I loved that. But what we're doing now is also really rewarding.
Yeah, it is. So immediately following that, we thought, okay, it's Ashley had her go because it was more her idea to do that. Let's give Josh a go at something he wants to do. And we thought we'd move down to LA. Maybe I'd go to film school. So I did. I went down to LA. We kind of checked out the school. We realized that it was going to be way too much money, and I could just start working in film and probably learn the same thing and make as good or better contacts. So we did. We moved down to LA, and my first job was as a cinema lens tech or assistant, depending who you ask. I was either a tech or an assistant. And I would help fix lenses, some of them as expensive as my parents' home. Some of them $200, you know. So it was a really interesting thing. I was working in proximity to film, but I wasn't in film. And then I was laid off from that job as well. And so I started Twitch streaming on YouTube. And then while I was doing that, I was also getting work as a producer for a drone company. So I would help set up shoots around the USA, flying drones professionally for commercials and that sort of thing. And then I was also doing freelance work as a production set designer for magazine shoots, advertisements, short films. I don't think I ever did a major motion picture as a set designer. No, but I did do like a PBS special, I think. Anyway, so it's really interesting working in the film industry, and yes, working with stars and all that sort of stuff, but it's a working environment, so you're not like doing the starstruck thing. You're just working with another person.
Yeah, Los Angeles was
We should probably wait for the dogs. It's getting louder.
It's coming towards you.
Okay, I think they're done.
Los Angeles was a completely different living style and work environment than what I was used to.
Well,
so
we were in community before, working really closely with people that we had formed extremely good bonds with, like friendships and just going through hardship together too.
So at the very beginning, it was really hard for me to transition into Los Angeles life, but I did get a job at Red Lobster, which I really liked. I've always worked in food and beverage, so I really enjoyed that. But I also picked up odds and end jobs, kind of like Josh was saying. In Los Angeles, they have weird ways to make money because a lot of people...
It's not what you're thinking.
A lot of people are actors and actresses, but they don't always get jobs. So they need odds and end things to do. So a lot of them become waiters and waitresses. Yeah. But there's other ways like being paid to be in the audience of shows, which is something that I did.
Yeah, like Judge Judy, Judge Joe Brown.
I did a lot of judge shows where they would pay me an hourly wage to sit in the audience and just watch the television show or whatever. I was paid to go to one of the Big Brother finales to sit in the audience, which I actually liked Big Brother, so it wasn't that big of a deal. It was actually really exciting for me, and I still got paid for it. So I did a lot of those, which was really fun, and I'm not an actress at all. I actually just liked being a part of it and seeing how all of it was done. But then lastly, I started working at a hotel and I worked in room service. It was so fun. It was something that I never had done before. But man, when you're in room service, you see so many different people and things, and it was a whole nother world to me. But within those 5 years, I went from being room service server to being the manager of all food and beverage outlets. I attribute that to me not being an actor or actress because so many of the people are there and that's my priority, whereas I wasn't into that. So my job was my priority. I put everything I had into it and I just loved it. I became a manager and I loved encouraging my employees and teaching and writing manuals and all those different things. I loved that, and I also just loved the hospitality part of it where taking care of people, making them happy, and just giving back to creating an environment where people are just enjoying themselves. I love that.
Which I find really interesting because that was one of the major catalysts for us starting this YouTube channel. So it is a bit circular. So we're doing this YouTube thing right now, explaining to you what we did before YouTube, which is actually what led into YouTube. Yeah. So after Ashley became the manager over food and beverage, she moved to a salary position. And if you don't know, you can easily get into a bad position with salary. Basically, the company owns your life is kind of what it ends up feeling like.
Kind of, you're promised a certain wage, and it doesn't matter how many hours you work.
So she was regularly working 12, sometimes 14 hours a day, which is actually what I would do when I was working on film shoots, but that was usually only 3 days out of the week. And then you have 2 or 3 days off in the middle, then you go to a different one. So it was a lot of different.
The time my job became 6 to 7 days a week.
Yes.
And so it was just taking over my life.
So you were feeling burnt out by the end.
Yeah, I wasn't able to have a life outside of my job. I was investing in the people in my job, but I also wanted to have friendships and relationships, and that was really hard to do. Yeah. When my job had taken over. And so I just felt like I had lost myself. I didn't know who I was, and I was exhausted and frustrated and taken advantage of in some ways.
Well, because you were a very hard worker and you wanted to please people, and people ended up learning that about you. Not that you were a pushover, but that they knew that you would do a really good job. So they would always ask you to do something.
Yeah, it was I learned so much through that job. I also learned how to say no in that job because I had to.
Which is very hard for her.
Because it was exhausting. But I'm so thankful for the position and the time that I had there, and it's definitely helped me in what we're doing now with planning and being organized and just so many things. What we've gone through, like with YWAM and taking teams, and then what we're doing now with film and planning and traveling, all of this has brought us here to this point.
Your life takes a winding path, and we had no idea we'd be here. I still didn't even know what's going to happen like 3 weeks from now, if I'm completely honest. And where this YouTube channel will go, we don't necessarily know just yet.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're in a position and you're like, why am I here? Sometimes the things that you're learning there or the things that you're going through there are preparing you for what's going to come in the future.
Anyways, I hope we encouraged you to get out there and travel today, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.